Hi guys, quick update here. In case you don't know, I just came back from Glasgow, Scotland. I actually had my dad, who recently retired, and we went on an entire epic UK adventure, as well as going over to Ireland, and we had a really good time. So I really want to tell you a little bit about some of these books that I brought back from the UK. Let's get into some of the books that I got in this UK adventure. All right, so I started out this trip in London, where I met my friend John from the channel Sci-Fi Scavenger. We got to meet up and exchange some books. He needed some books from the US that I had brought him over, and I went ahead and decided that I would be able to pack up those exact spaces in my bag with some new books. What little did I know that he had brought me some books from his library where he had recently had duplicates or books that he thought I would like. So I grabbed a couple of those, and he had brought me a book, old Galant's version of Floating Worlds by Cecilia Holland. Now this is kind of a hefty chunk of a book, but somehow I was able to fit it, and it looks really good. It's definitely a hard one to find. He also brought me a duplicate copy of a Christopher Priest novel called The Separation, which I'm excited to check out. Then he had another copy of a Robert Silverberg book called Thorns, which I'm really pumped to get into. This is a Hugo nominee that I have had some difficulty finding, and and he offered me a copy of Brazil. Now, this is a hardback copy because I turned down his physical copy because I had already grabbed this one. So I will definitely have to check out the Steampunk Brazil. Next, we went to a couple of used bookstores and ended up, trying to be as tight as I could with only picking up the books that I absolutely had to have. And we ended up picking up a book of an author I had never heard of called Paul McCauley. This is The Secret to Life. This is a book, there were a couple different books by this author, and this one just spoke to me because it's very biology-esque, and I've been in that vibe lately, so I brought this one home to check out and hopefully have a more British author that I don't know anything about. Then we ended up going to several other stores where a lot of stores only had a couple shelves or even just one bookcase of books. And that was fun, but it was a little disappointing because sometimes we didn't find the kinds of books that we were looking for. We ended up going to the flagship store of Forbidden Planet. And I gotta tell you, you guys, this was my favorite bookstore in London that I went to so far. I've been to some Forbidden Planets in other cities around the world, including New York City, and also, I believe, LA. But this bookstore, in case you don't know, is mostly comic books and fan paraphernalia, and it's fun to go, but usually they only have a couple of bookshelves in the back of science fiction books. But in London, the entire basement is books. It was rooms and rooms and rooms, and they had, I think it was 4 entire cases where they had brand new books that were 99 pence. I was freaking out. It was so awesome. I kept picking books up and then putting them back and being like, no, I can't get that. No, I'll fit it somehow. I'll fit it somehow. Poor John had to watch this whole situation happen, and he was probably a little flabbergasted himself. We also had a really good time because I would pick up a couple books and I didn't want to buy second books in series. By the way, I hate it when publishers don't make it obvious that it's a second book in a series. So I would be like, hey, John, there was no Wi-Fi down in the basement, so he had to go upstairs where he had service, and I'd be like, okay, go check on these 2 books and see which one is the first book in a series, because I didn't have a SIM card. So he would run upstairs and check the books and then come back down and be like, that one's a good one, and this one not, and that one's a 3rd book, and don't get that one, and this one it would be a good one. And it was actually so much fun that I ended up not taking any film footage at all, didn't take any pictures, because I came out with so many books. And remember that I only have a travel backpack. I don't travel with a checked bag. So this is a lot of books to try to fit in. I thought I was going to have to leave behind some clothes or something because I couldn't get all of these books into my bag. But I couldn't leave behind some of these books. So I ended up seeing quite a few brand new Stephen Baxter books that I have been wanting to get to. So I ended up picking up Creation Node. There was several other books on there, but this is the one I picked up because this is the one that kind of spoke to me on the back of the cover, and I'm really excited about that one. Another one that I picked up that I hadn't heard of is a Gregory Benford and Larry Niven book, and that's called Bowl of Heaven. And I don't know if you can see it, but you can still see the 99 pence sticker on there. I guess this is the first of a series that I'm really hoping is the first of a series because there were, I think, quite a few other books. One of them was called Ship Star, and I think that's in this series somehow. So I don't know. I'm just really excited to check this one out, and it has really nice big font. I don't know if you can see that, so I'm kind of picky about my font. Then I picked up a book that I can get in the States. But one of the things that I noticed about these books is there are an incredible size in the UK of paperbacks. They're just a little bit smaller than the ones in the US. I don't know if you can see the difference here, but this is a paperback that's in the US, and then this is the paperback that's in the UK. So you can see that there's like a huge difference in the size between them. So I ended up picking up Justin Cronin's The Ferryman, which I'm really excited to pick up just because it's a perfect hand-sized book. It's got nice, big, decent font, and I heard that this is a book about a utopia where the old have to leave and go to a new place, and the old are taken there by the ferryman, and it may not be quite what everybody thinks it is. So this sounds like a classic utopia dystopia type of book that a lot of people are really recommending, so I'm really excited to pick this one up soon. Speaking of other books that I got to pick up, so I think that does it for my London book haul, if I'm remembering this correctly. Sorry, I went to too many bookstores. Up in Scotland, and also the Worldcon, I ended up picking up a book called The Coward, which is a fantasy novel by Stephen Ryan. Now, this author I did get to meet, but I didn't get a picture with, and I didn't even think to have him sign my copy of his book, unfortunately. Then I went up to several other bookstores in Scotland, and I ended up getting the UK-sized version of Ball Lightning by Cixin Liu. I'm really excited about this one. One of my friends, Rachel from Shades of Orange, has read several of his other books and said this one was really good. So I'm hoping to get to this one soon as well. I also ended up picking up the book System Collapse by Martha Wells. This is another murder bot, the next in the series that I haven't read yet. And it's the one that came out this year, so I definitely need to get to that one. At Worldcon, I also picked up a Clark's World. This is a cute little magazine that you can also buy with some short stories. Usually they're award-winning, and you can get this mailed to your house, I think. I also got to pick up a quick little sampler by Joe Abercrombie. Apparently, this one is a little sneak peek chapter of a book that Joe Abercrombie is coming out with recently. So I'm pretty excited to pick this one up and see if I like it. Another book that I ended up picking up is one called The Games by Ted Kosmataka. I may be saying that wrong. This is an author who I recently picked up a book called Flickerman, and I was so blown away with how good this book was that I decided to pick up his other book. So apparently this has to do with a bloody gladiator competition that's pitting genetically engineered life against each other, and the ethics and some of the quality control that's all behind this. So this sounds really interesting. Very mystery thriller meets some sci-fi, so I'm pretty excited about it. Next, I got a new Adrian Tchaikovsky novella called Saturation Point. You can see here that it is a signed copy. Let's see here. Yeah, there it is. There's a fancy Adrian Tchaikovsky signature. But I'm really excited about this new novella. It looks really intriguing, and I'm always interested in the worlds and ideas that he comes up with. So I got that one recently. Then I ended up going to Dublin, where I found a charity shop that is apparently all around the UK and maybe the EU too, I'm not sure, called Oxfam. This is a charity shop. A lot of these books were used and really well priced, and I just could not say no to these books. So I ended up picking up a hefty chunk, and that is New York 2140 by Kim Stanley Robinson. This is one of the books that I've heard is really, really good of his, so I ended up not being able to turn this down for £6. I also got what looks like 2 brand new copies of Isaac Asimov's Pebble in the Sky and The Stars Like Dust. Interestingly, these differed in price. This one was one more pound than this one. Not exactly sure how that happened, but these look like really awesome stories from Isaac Asimov that I want to get to at some point. Then I ended up coming home and finding that I wanted to get 2 books from the local bookshop, mostly due to what happened in the UK. So the first is one I'm blaming entirely on Thomas from SFF 180, and you know if you know, and that is I went and picked up Kim Stanley Robinson's Icehenge. Now, this is the Tour Essentials that just came out this year, and it's a nice little tiny book, so that's really good. And then I also got the hard copy edition of The Mercy of the Gods. So I cannot wait to finish out reading this one in the physical copy because I have been using the audio in my reading of this book. So that does it for my UK book haul. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.